This used to take Cinema 4D or Blender, now it's inside After Effects. Because After Effects just leveled up in a big way. We're talking real 3D meshes, substance materials, displacement for depth, and lights that finally cast shadows on your scene. I'm breaking down how to create a full 3D sports matchup motion graphic. Stick around till the end of the video. I'm giving away the full After Effects project file so you can use this for your own teams. And if you're trying to level up your sports game, I go way deeper inside my sports motion graphics masterclass. The link is below. This entire look comes down to 3 things: lighting, materials, and keeping your scene simple. If you get these 3 right, everything else falls in place. Right now, you still can't modify vertices, edges, or faces on these meshes. So for more complex builds, you'll want to create your models in a 3D app and import them into After Effects. But as AE continues to evolve, I wouldn't be surprised if that changes soon. I'm using 3 spotlights and 1 environment light. This is where the scene really starts to come to life. 1 spotlight for each team and 1 in the center to illuminate the basketball. I'm also tinting the team lights using their colors and boosting the intensity so they really pop. Using team colors in your lighting instantly makes the design feel more intentional. And this is one of those small details people notice even if they don't realize it. Now, spotlights can be a little annoying to control. A quick trick for this: I link the point of interest to a null object and it makes it way easier to manage. Finally, I added an environment light for overall global illumination. This is what ties everything together. I lowered the intensity to give the scene a slightly moodier look, and I'm using the default image here, but you can swap in any HDR image you want. And to finish it off, I adjusted the rotation so the light hits evenly across the walls. Drop in a mesh and adjust the properties. This part is simple, but it sets the foundation for everything. For this example, I modified a cone mesh to create the center column that holds the basketball. And the basketball itself is just a free 3D model from Sketchfab. This scene is built around 2 pre-comps, 1 for the visiting team and 1 for the home team. The key idea here is symmetry. This alone will cut your build time in half. I'll build one side of the set, then duplicate it and flip it to create the other side. Let's jump into the team pre-comp so you can see how this works. This is where it starts to come together. It's mostly plain meshes in different sizes, rotated to build out the wall. I dropped in the team logo, added text, and extruded the text into 3D. Quick tip, you need to be using After Effects Advanced Render Engine for this. Also, at the moment, you cannot apply effects directly on the 3D mesh. So for the glow on the glow stick, I faked it. I created a comp, added a shape layer, and used a blur effect to simulate the glow. Let me show you how to build these walls quickly using 3D meshes and the snap feature. Once you see this, it clicks fast. I'll grab the mesh plane tool, double click to create one, and place it at the origin, 960, 540, 0 for a 1920 by 1080 comp. In the properties, set the width to 600 and the length to 1500. That's our first wall panel. Duplicate it, change the width to 200, hit Y for the anchor point tool. Snap the anchor to the edge, make sure that snapping is on. Switch back to the selection tool, the letter V, move it, and it'll snap right into place. From there, rotate it. I'm using -45 degrees, and now you can start to see the structure forming. Repeat the process for the next panel. Duplicate it, and let me move this mesh. Switch to the top view, adjust the anchor, then move it, and it should snap it into place. And at this point, you can see how you can build this out pretty quickly. Right now, this looks pretty flat. Watch what happens when we add a substance material. This one step does a lot of the heavy lifting. Click on the hamburger icon, go to Get Substance Community Assets. This takes you to Adobe Substance where you can grab free materials. Download, import into After Effects, and select it from the dropdown. And this is where it starts to feel real. These materials come with built-in texture, roughness, detail, colors, so you're getting realism without doing extra work. And the best part, you can tweak everything. Scale it, adjust the color, push the detail as far as you want. Small changes here make a huge difference, and this is where you start separating beginner from pro. I like to keep materials clean and subtle, just enough to add depth without distracting from the design. This next step is what really adds depth. Now you're actually getting real surface depth. Displacement pushes and pulls the surface based on its texture. You can crank it up for something more dramatic or keep it subtle for a cleaner look. But even a little bit makes a big difference. Once Team A is done, duplicate the comp, Command or Control D, rename it to Team B, and jump in. And this is where everything starts to connect. Create a null object, name it Flip, and parent your 3D meshes using the pick whip. Then go to Scale, unlink the axes, and set X to -100. That mirrors the entire set. Just make sure your null and your 3D meshes are at the origin first. Otherwise, the flip won't land where you expect. Now create a master comp, same dimensions and same frame rate. Bring in both team comps, place them in 3D space, and enable collapse transformation so all the 3D data carries through. To line everything up, I dropped the guide at 960 for the X-axis, the center of the frame, and snapped each side into place. From there, it's basically like Legos. Everything just snaps into place. Right now, this is completely static. Create a 2-node camera and a null object. This is the difference between a comp and a shot. Animate the null in 3D space just to start and end keyframe. Subtle camera movement instantly adds production value. Even a tiny move makes this feel alive. Then link the camera's position to the null using the expression pick whip so it follows that motion path. Since the point of interest stays fixed, the camera always stays focused on the center as it moves. You don't need anything crazy, amigos, just a bit of movement across the scene. To get the free After Effects project file, check out the Sports Mega Bundle. Link is in the description. This will save you hours of work. To swap logos, go into the logo team comps. To update text and colors, open the Essential Graphics panel and make your changes there. Everything else updates automatically. That's the power of setting this up the right way. From there, make it your own. Change the camera, tweak the design, have fun, and be creative. If you want to start creating graphics like this for real clients, not just tutorials, check out my Sports Motion Graphics Masterclass. I break down the full workflow, step by step, the design thinking, and how to actually build at a professional level. Links in the description. And amigos, remember that life is a gift, make it count.